Okay.
I really liked being at the front of the civil rights movement. I really liked marching with Martin Luther King to George Wallace's white, well, not White House, but it's kind of white. In Montgomery, the state White House. I like that a lot. I think I would say the best thing I've done in my life, I'm doing right now, is practicing and creating this reality of system with Rashida. So I'd say that.
Thank you. I've got Lilu calling. I'd like to take this call.
What she said?
Lilu's calling her.
Lilu, okay. Tell her how to get on. Tell her to get on. We want to see her. Greta, what do you want to talk about?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I want to tell Lulu that I love her. And I was listening. They're still going, these guys for the president, and I was listening to that. Did you listen?
You talk about the debates?
Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to a lot of it.
I can't hear you, babe.
I listened to a lot of it.
Okay, I hear you, but I can't hear Rashida.
Rashida's not here.
She's not here.
Well, whoever that woman is talking.
Oh, they're probably in the kitchen. Hey, could you hold it down in the kitchen?
Well, never mind. Hello, y'all. I'm glad to be here.
What do you want to talk about?
Found it.
Hi, Greta.
This
I
is the
love
real
that.
Come, Dave.
I want to know.
I can't see you.
Yeah, okay. Nothing. I don't want to talk about anything in particular. I
Here, what do you want to talk about?
love being here. Nothing.
Dustin, what do you want to talk about? Shekina, what do you want to talk about?
I've got nothing right now.
What
What do you
is,
want to talk about?
what is the,
That's a great shirt, by the way.
thank you, Rashida
Did anybody
gives
see
me.
her shirt?
What is the best thing to do with the guru's urine?
Guru's urine? Drink it? I don't know. What do you think? I never heard that question before. Have you ever heard anything about that?
Well, I know that there's like different things you do with the guru's feet, washing his feet and the toenail, like everything that comes from the guru's sacred.
Yeah, I'm not into any of that stuff. I do know that Namkai Norbu, whose picture is in that room, on this wall, the two black and white pictures. The one a little that way, he's Namkai Norbu, and he was a great Dzogchen master. And his uncle was also a great Dzogchen master, but he never came into town. He just lived in a cave that people brought him food. Yes. And he wouldn't. What do you want to talk about? You said you didn't want to talk about anything, you just started talking.
My dear,
Talk,
that was the last Coke.
okay?
Would you like a root beer?
No, a real root beer?
Yeah, I found it.
Where?
It was in a drawer.
I didn't taste like this, it's weird. What do
It's
we-
a little bit more flavor.
What do we have like? It's like a Coke.
I'll go get one.
What else do you need to get? What else don't we have?
Nothing else. Pretty much have it.
One other thing you didn't have that you
Chili
mentioned,
relatives.
no. Something right before you said you'd have to go to the market. Do you remember?
I don't.
Okay. I would enjoy having that. But I don't think you can get them to help with stuff.
I can get them at grocery outlet.
That's right, you can, and also you can get sugar-free,
I'm
and you can get sugar-free cherry.
okay.
Okay, let's see.
So I recognized what I wanted to talk about last night.
And what is it?
When I read the quote in Kabir, it's talked about the flute, and you spoke of the chakras, and I would love to know the flute and the chakras and how they line up.
Well, I think chakra is like an inner flute, because a flute has holes that play different frequencies, right?
Okay. Okay.
So a flute plays different frequencies, and the chakras have different frequencies. So it's a play on words. It's poetic license.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see. Yes. Oh, Joshua, what do you think about that? You get rid of that, okay?
Yeah.
Joshua, what do you want to talk about? Can you hear
In
me?
your, yes, can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. In your experience studying with Yogi Bhajan, I'm curious when and or if you experienced I guess the way that I would phrase the question is, in those years studying with Yogi Bhajan, when you experienced maybe ordinary mind, surface, or you found yourself in a state where you weren't stable in your consciousness, what would you typically do to come back into a state of being stabilized?
What do you say?
When you would fall out of your state of consciousness, or like when you were training
Yeah,
and you fell off the train, how would you get yourself back on?
that's a good question. I don't remember the last time I wasn't conscious. Because consciousness, another way of saying consciousness is you're witnessing your mind. So either you're thinking or you're quiet and you're learning about, you're seeing thoughts going by. So that's what consciousness is. It's the witness of the mind. And I can't remember the last time I didn't witness my mind. I maybe I didn't, in college or in high school, but it's too long ago. So once I learned to be quiet and listen. I never went out of the witness of the mind after that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
All right.
I do have something I want to talk about.
You can also tighten your anal sphincter and it will wake your higher mind up. If you feel it's a little, do that and the kundalini comes up your eye and all of a sudden you're brighter. What do you want to talk about?
That this bread financial.
What?
There's a $68 from Bread Financial for an Equinox Plus something.
It's a gym. Am I a member?
You were, but not currently. I look in your account and you are not currently receiving any benefits from this Equinox Plus.
That's all right. I'm not going to the gym anymore.
Exactly. Oh, perfect. It's canceled, but I'm thinking that somebody started or somebody put a loan for Equinox Plus under your name or under your Wells Fargo account. It's not very much. It's $137 total.
Somebody's using my account.
I think so. So I'm wondering, Sheikha, would you ask Lilu if she's using Equinox Plus?
Yeah, I'll ask her.
Which, are you still talking to her?
No, we just finished.
He called me right after and I didn't answer because it's Dharma Night and people are talking, but maybe I should call her back.
Call her back and get on the video with,
Here.
tell her to get on the video with us. All right, let's see.
Is Clint there, y'all?
Is what?
Clint.
Clint is in Trump Tower
He's here.
with Master P-Dog.
How may I help you?
Ah, when you said you were there, I thought you were really in heaven.
It's the equivalent.
Okie dokie. Good. I'm glad. Thank you.
Lilu said she's not using the Equinox account.
Okay.
So I guess you have to call him up
Yeah.
probably tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Sophia, do you have anything left to talk about?
No, sir.
What about you, Romana?
I do. Ever since I read again what Shekinah posted and the English translation of the Nityananda chant that she was working on, the Nityananda portal, a phrase in that just seemed to pop out at me and go right into my heart. And I wanted to say it and ask the Sangha what their experience of it is for themselves. And that part of the mantra is that the master takes an incarnation for the sake of the disciple.
What's the question?
She wants to know from this what it means to them that the master or the guru takes on a body for the needs of devotees. That's how that verse
So
goes.
he wants it, he asked all the people.
Well, I wanted us to take a moment of silence just to contemplate that sentence and then respond what it means to you.
So say the sentence.
Anybody want to respond to the question?
She's asked us to sit by Bruce.
We
That's
did,
what we're doing.
didn't we do that?
Yeah, so you're calling it off now?
What?
Okay, you're saying.
Anybody, somebody must know.
It's clear to me you took on a body for my needs. I was just in Boulder doing my business, being an art therapist, beginning to be an art therapist. And I met your student, and then I met you, and you came to my house. And you plucked me up,
I did.
and I didn't know no better. So I couldn't have been seeking you consciously. But you heard something to pursue.
Wow,
So thank you.
you're welcome. Sophia, do you have an answer to the question?
Yes. I had a very deep prayer to God to come home and to find my beloved and to know the truth. And I prayed. It was in December 31st of 1988, and my heart was set on fire. And then immediately within a week or two, Luke brought me to Muktananda's ashram in Denver. And I did open-eyed meditation with Muktananda and was zapped. And that sent me on a journey of understanding I was to come and help remove a dark force in the school and to find this man that would bring me home. And I said to Luke at the time, his name is Mer something, M. I don't know what it is. And then we would talk at a restaurant, and then he would tell me about you. I go, I've got to meet this man, and he wants chocolate. He wants me to bring him chocolate. And then 2 months later, we met at Canarita's, and I walked in the door, and a flash of light happened in the doorway, and we said that we knew each other. And my heart was set on fire from that moment on.
I remember.
It was so wild. It was wild. And then I said, I've got to go to Orange County, California. You said, come to see me and come to California. And I did. Took me a long time to get to Orange County, but it was amazing. The flash of light and my remembrance of being with God, touching me at the brown point, and knowing that I would come in this life to find you, and we would be together in this life to do our very unique work.
Oh, what a great story.
Yeah.
Widow, have an answer to our question?
No.
Romana, do you have an answer to your own question?
When I contemplate that phrase that the Guru has taken on form for the needs of the disciple, it opens my heart so deeply. And the feeling is an awareness of God's compassion. And a sense of profound gratitude that that's the way it works. That's what I get when I contemplate that phrase all day, and why it caught my eye when Shekinah posted it.
Anybody here want to comment on this question?
I'll share.
Yeah, it's here with you. I love those classes.
Thank you.
Everybody see classes. How you like that?
So
Isn't that cool?
You're so cool.
You don't need to wear them, you know,
Okay.
you know.
I hear synchronicity in this question, because I recently had a dream with Isa in it, and you were asking me something around the lines of, what do you still need me in my body for?
When was this?
This was like a few days ago. Yeah. And my dream self responded. I don't remember exactly how she put it, but the essence of it was loving and accepting a specific part of myself. That your presence in your body invites me to love that part of myself radically. And so I brought it to my dream analyst, who I'm dreaming out now.
Nice.
And it led me to contemplate just how much of that work you've done for me through love, through my reintegration back into the community, and that part of me being the part of me that could never be explained or understood, that is deemed crazy.
Thank you.
Yeah, this crazy aspect of my identity that we recognize in one another and love in one another in a very unique way.
Thank you. Anybody else want to comment on her question? What? Say it again.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
First, I'm gonna delete 500 of these text messages that you get on your phone.
Oh,
I'm
good.
gonna delete those. And I have, 1,000 more. It's the political text messages. My answer to the question is that my life's a big setup, and it's so clear when I look. And I met the specific right people at the specific right time, heard the specific right things, and also I understood a lot of these things in a flash that I can remember in like 2017. A lot of it came to me like a big hit. So that's it. I was always supposed to come here.
I remember somebody told me about that. You said you didn't feel any way, but he always put you in good places, so you. Okay.
Yeah, I'm often kicking and screaming through different phases of my awakening. And that was the first one.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Listen, you want to comment on it? This question?
How do you think on that subject right now?
All right. Let's see if,
I
go
think
ahead.
I think it's very interesting how the question provokes such a conversation and such interesting stories about how people met you for the first time.
Deb, what do you want to talk about tonight?
I think it makes all the sense in the world that a teacher would sacrifice, their whole lifetime to help somebody. I remember there was a story in another spiritual school. We were studying Mir Baba, and there was a story of a spiritual teacher who had spent an entire lifetime with a woman as her husband, and then in the next life they were her teacher, and she could remember it very clearly, and they just gave that entire life to getting this person ready for meeting the teacher in the next lifetime. It was just, and just that a lifetime is like a blink of an eye. If we can comprehend that, then we can definitely comprehend that, the teacher would have that ability to sacrifice and just dive in to help one person, wake up and have the joy of the realization of the power of their destiny. And then just, I think stories like that just help us realize, how amazing we are as human beings and how our souls are worth everything. It's each individual soul. And it's amazing to think, that we are here. We all chose to be here in this time together, with agency, with the ability to come into this life and meet amazing people and to meet a master teacher. Yeah, so that's my thought on the question.
That's beautiful, Prem Dev.
I love it.
Thanks.
Beth, did I ask you if you have a response to her question? I'm not seeing anything but the street, so. Let's see.
He's back.
Huh?
He's back.
Clint, do you have a comment on our question?
I've already forgot the question.
The guru takes on the incarnation in order to help the disciples awaken. What does that phrase bring up for you when you contemplate that the guru has taken on the incarnation to serve the disciples' needs? What is your response to that when you think about that phrase?
Sounds like heaven. Doesn't sound like a sacrifice.
I think the term sacrifice is used here to mean to leave, to force one's consciousness into a third dimensional incarnation in order to serve the beings there at that time.
Now, did everybody get a chance to talk? You did. You want to talk? Okay, Saraswati, so talk.
I wanted to bring up Leela, the woman who has been tending to heaven for many years. And I'm wondering if we can give her more notice than 7 days, because has been very she hasn't raised, she's definitely not charging market rate for cleaning for 4 hours, and she never raised her price when we added different pets to the house or many more people. Well, I was wondering, maybe if we could more than week's notice for her to find another Monday morning place to clean. And I understand the reason to let her go is the expense and an opportunity for everybody here to work together. And I see that, so I was wondering if we could give her more than 1 week's notice so that this is not coming out of somebody else's pocket. Maybe all of us could come together, similar to what we did with Ramona and the CBD. And everybody sends $10 to at least give her 2 weeks' notice.
Well, I plan on paying her anyway until she finds a replacement job. So I decided that.
Oh,
I know something about her finances and her family, and I just want to do that.
okay. So then when we give her notice, whoever does that can also let her know that.
Let me know that, right? Let me know what day I'm supposed to do it.
So
Right.
I gave her notice today and we had a lovely conversation. And she says, she said to me, it has been such a pleasure. And she feels like she would miss everyone. I said, you are always, always welcome at the Heaven Home. You are our family. If I can help you in any way, I will. You can call me, text me. We have very, very good communication and have. And if there's any trouble, to call and we will make sure you get covered. And she said, you're very, very kind people. And I said, you and your son are always welcome and you are our family. And it was a lovely conversation. I did let her know that I would send her funds next week for another week. And if there's a problem, to let me know if there's anything moving forward.
So is she coming? Like, will
She will not be coming this next week, but I'm going to pay her anyway.
Well, then you could call her and tell her what Mercer just said, that he's going to pay her salary till she fills that spot.
I can let her know that.
Because that'll make her happy.
And if she wants to clean, so we're getting cleaned twice a week, that's good too.
Yeah, you know, when I communicate with her, because I'm very good at communication with her, she seemed settled, and I'm happy to continue the conversation with her because we've had a very honorable relationship all of these years. And so I could continue to see that she's very settled or not. And so I didn't sense in our communications that there was a problem, and I want to be always sensitive to her. And if anybody would like to chip in towards this next week or 2 or 3, if that's what's necessary, I am definitely open to receiving those kinds of donations, because that would need to be earned. So, but when I communicated with her, I felt there was a timing to everything, and she didn't feel shut out. She felt welcome, and she felt she could always call Isa or myself if she needed help. I did not feel any sense. I felt initially a shock, and then I went further with her to say, you are a friend, you're very faithful, you are our family, you are always welcome, and if you need help, to please communicate that with me. And that was received well.
Well, she's been there for years, and it would be a really nice severance package for her to have it covered till she can fill it. But I imagine they're in great demand.
Yeah, I had the sense that this would all work out perfectly. I did not have a sense there'd be a lack, and to trust the Shakti and the way the Shakti's guided it. But in the meantime, if it would help everybody, I'm happy to continue just finding out how she is, if she needs help. The other thing I could do, if people would feel better about it, is I did reach out to Shannon Epstein, who actually was a stellar housekeeper there, to see if she also has anybody she could pass her work on to, because she worked quite a bit in Encinitas, and we had a lovely conversation yesterday on the phone, because she moved to Los Angeles to be close to her daughter. I could also reach out again to Shannon to say, would you have any clients for her that would be suitable? Because she knew her also. They both worked at the Heaven House because there was so much work to do. So anyway, she also
How
was
long has Lily been there?
a couple of years. She replaced the woman before that, which is her. I can't remember what was her name.
Was
It was
more
her
than years.
cousin. My little cousin.
She replaced her niece or her aunt who
Maybe.
left the country.
Yeah, so, you can take what we're paying her out of my account called SP until she replaces us.
Okay, I can let her know that.
Right.
I'd like to do a reading.
I have one more thing.
Who?
Me,
And I do too.
okay.
Go ahead.
It feels to me like I would be included or bring it into Dharma Night when there are decisions like this, because I got a text from Shekina that we were letting Leela go. And I'm not gonna fight anybody. I think it's a great idea. It just felt like a decision that included individual conversations with other people and not directly to everybody, and to talk about it together and to really inspire us all to work together. So I'm wondering,
Are you saying you didn't know about this until
Until-
tonight?
no, I knew about it yesterday or the day before that, but it had already been decided at that point. And that's why it felt to me like we should give Leela more notice, or we should all bring this up at Dharma Night. I thought a lot of decisions are to be brought to Dharma Night, but this is something that was just, here's what's happening.
Do you know who decided it without telling anybody?
I don't know. I know who sent the text was shaken up.
I
So
like
it just,
I
it
can
all-
I answer that? I'd like to answer that. I would like to share with this community that my life is changing and I'm wanting to go into a new direction. When we dissolved the Paradise Project, which I put my entire being in with Heaven for the last 35 years, but the last 5 years, 4 years with Paradise, I came to a experience that my work is changing. My ability to manifest in my work has been very different since December, and I've been communicating for some time I need help.
I don't have a,
No, let me finish. Please let me finish. And so what was interesting is that there are certain people in this community that started to actually communicate with me directly and feel me. And I'm very concerned about the Heaven household, that people do follow the 24-hour rule, and things that are broken or lost or stolen we follow those directives. I was trained in those directives. And I find that that doesn't always happen. And I'm not getting my tentacles in there, but it became difficult to pay the housekeeper because it takes away from the house bills. David, my partner, communicates with the plan of action group to please everybody contribute. And so people are starting to contribute to a portion of the bills. I didn't ask for rent, I asked bills. I asked for SDG&E, I asked for water, I asked for even the housekeeper. And everybody can look at how they've contributed to that. She gets paid $500 a month. So if anybody is passionate about paying the housekeeper or doing it themselves, they could, and they're that passionate, they would be contributing and really respecting the fact that they've had somebody come in their house and clean their house. And I've run out of steam with it myself. And when Shakina mentioned she's doing a cleaning business that was conscious based on the teachings, I was like, wow, you can't get better than that. You can't get better than a God-loving woman inspired by Dharma, wanting to bring Dharma at a conscious level to a home that I have provided for 7, 8 years with my master. For all these people to be accessing this knowledge and this wealth and these assets. And I feel ready to pass this on to people who will say, I will be responsible. I will be responsible for the place that I live. I will be an example of the teachings of the people that have trained me and gone before me. And this only happened because they called me on the phone and said, hey, I want to do this. I want to make money. I want to be successful. And I said, hey, you can't get better than that. And I'm struggling. And I need help. So this was just the way. And then I went to my master and I asked permission. Please, this is the plan. It was conscious and he agreed. And then I sent that to Murshida as his wife out of respect. And that's all that happened. This is not about sidestepping the process. It was not about, I'm the one who takes care of it. So if someone has a passion to take care of it, please step in and please make a contribution. Because there's still $125 being sent to her next week. That would help me. So that's all that happened. It was purity. It was Shakti based on my wish and someone who was new out of beginner's mind that wanted to learn. And I was just so grateful to God. And that's all that happened. There was no trying to be exclusive of the community. I live and breathe this community and I've lived it for 35 years and I have a proven track record. So please, please, Sheikha would never do anything like that. It was just out of the joy of her inspiration. And I wed that to my heart. And I'm going to give this woman an opportunity because my insight said that Leela would go to the next level because what she's received from heaven and the Shakti would make sure she's taken care of.
Thank you, Sheikha. I appreciate that.
Does anyone else have something they want to talk about?
She's not done.
Oh, go ahead.
My point was not to bring up the what for. My point was not about how it happened. My point was that in the future about these things, it would feel better to me for this to be talked about in Dharma Night or everybody together. Because I have no problem understanding the situation. I have no issue with not having a cleaning person. I have no attachment to that. It's more so that there was not a face-to-face clarity about this. I understand, Shaiko, from your perspective, that you spoke to Isa and you spoke to Rashida. And to me, it feels like for the harmony of heaven, the people that do live here, to have better communication about these things, so it doesn't feel like it's coming from a place that is just, hey, this is what's happening, and we're all shifting to that. It's just my understanding that here we bring up ideas to everybody, and even if the decision's already been made, I don't care. But we just bring them all up to everybody. That feels right to me if we are all working together as a household. So that's the only part of it that I wanted to bring up, is a request that this not happen in this same way again. Is a request that it happen in a clear way. That's it.
Saraswati, I cannot control the Shakti, and I'm aware of how it came to me. And possibly if someone came to ask me that question again, I would say, make sure you talk to all of your housemates. I'm not integral in that way. So I can definitely do that next time. But I do trust the force. And if there's tension, I understand that that's just all we have the opportunity to practice. But I do believe the Shakti is perfect in the way it happened. And so it's just better communication as a team there. And I certainly support you in that.
That's all I'm asking. Communicate better together and follow the communication exercise of really sensing and feeling somebody, delivering the communication with eye contact, just receiving a lot of things through text. It doesn't feel like we're all working together.
It would, so my thought is, if there's a lack of communication within the heaven home, that would mean there's a lack of either practicing together or regular play or house meetings or something where people can feel one another and they're what is arising. And that would include really looking at the home that you live in, whether or not you're living the 4 prime directives within yourself and the environment that you live in. And if you could look at whether you walk around that house and look and see, are things broken, are things need to be fixed, and can I bring it to the group and meet about all these things? People are very busy. That home is the opportunity to practice the teachings. It's just right in your face all the time. So the lack of communication has to do with a lack of either practicing together to feel one another, or the lack of meetings and looking at how to keep that house at a 5-star level, which is what it deserves.
Can you give me,
There's
go ahead.
people.
She talking, she finished?
I think everybody's finished talking right now.
Can you give me an example of things that people have broken or lost and not repaired or replaced?
I think Yah has a list of broken items that need to be fixed. He has items that need to be fixed that are broken in the heaven household. And I think that the group would grow to the next level if they repaired them, because when there's a broken object, there's what they call a loss of ki, a loss of energy. And if we could fix it, that energy's fixed and there's Shakti. So we want to look at that list that Yah has as he's been moving through the space out of his own self-observation, studying whether he embodies the 4 prime directives, which is the foundational principle of our school, as given by Yogi Bhajan through Isa. That would be the first place to start for people's growth, whether growth in general, looking at the house, because you have to look at the point of view from the Chinese people who own the house. We want to be able to, if you want to buy a house like that, you have to make that house like the people who own it, that they care for it as their own. Do we treat that house like it's our own? And there are broken objects and things that need to be fixed in that home. So I would suggest meeting with Yah and getting a plan of action.
We have our weekly plan of action meeting every Wednesday at 6 p.m. And David has been updating the list that we provided, but we have, yeah, I think Yah is in that group chat and he hasn't said anything about this list, adding it to the POA that we have. So that would be the next step.
Thank you.
Is giving it to the POA chat group that I believe you're in.
Yeah.
It's submitting the list and updating it in our documents and then attending the POA meeting so we can all start working on these things that are broken and start taking things off the list. That would be the next step. And that's
Okay.
Wednesday.
Yes, and not everybody attends those meetings. Yeah, so
there's people that are not living at heaven that are part of Dharma Night. And these kind of discussions can take quite a while. So it seems more appropriate to me as an out-of-state member of the Sangha that the things that have completely to do with heaven's operations can be discussed in the meetings that have to do with the people living there, and then bring a report to Dharma Night on what is been decided so we can share with it and not be in a discussion over household items that don't affect the out-of-state people not living there.
Does it affect you though? Because if the frequency of heaven is not where it ought to be, then affects the work that us here. So I think it does affect us, and I hear you that you're ready to move on. So I'm ready to move on. Thank you.
Yeah, and Ramanana, Isa had the question.
Yeah.
That you had the question, what are the examples of broken,
Yeah.
lost or stolen objects at heaven?
Give me a list of the broken things that happen. What? Did she hear me?
I don't have it.
You said it before. She said, Yah has the list. That was her answer.
What's on the, tell us the list. Get in the frame.
There
On the
are
frame.
Frame.
the frame.
Tell us the ones you remember without looking at the list.
There's a sink upstairs in the master bathroom that needs repair. Possibly the bowl needs to be replaced because there's a crack in the bottom of the bowl.
Did we crack it?
That's it. Does
Yes.
it matter?
yes, it did. Yes. The reason why I was sent a picture and that house was not given to me in that condition, and it was cracked and it's damaged.
It
Show
could have
a-
been found.
Show a picture.
Give me one second.
Okay, let's keep moving.
Tell us,
That's
without
part of the
looking at
list.
your list, tell us more things. Don't look at the
Without-
list.
Without looking, what do you remember
Okay,
besides
there
that
is-
stair sink?
There are doors in the garage that go to the closet that were removed, that need to be put back.
Doors and.
There is a slide.
Sliding white doors in the garage. Somebody
yeah.
took them off in order to expose the shelves on what's there.
All right, anything else?
There, the trellis up here, there is a broken piece of wood on the trellis that needs to be replaced.
Anything else?
There are various areas, there's paint chips that need to be just painted and spackled throughout the space.
Chips,
Paint chips.
Like right here.
paint chips. Anything else?
That toilet seat in there needs to be replaced because it's rusted.
What?
Rusted
Hey, yeah,
Yes.
in the downstairs shower room.
Toilet seats.
Yeah,
I thought plastic didn't rust.
well, there's metal parts. They have to be replaced from time to time.
Um. The screen doors have been done, the screen windows have been done. I haven't checked the rest of the windows.
They're in good order.
Oh,
I believe they're all in good order.
are they on the place then?
They should be.
Those two windows last week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Upstairs toilet seat.
I
The
just, I bought the replacement for the toilet seat upstairs today.
Okay.
And that
And I haven't
needs to be
really,
installed.
I haven't checked really the upstairs bedrooms or the bathroom because my mind isn't really in those areas except for master bathroom upstairs.
Sauna trim.
Sounds like there's very little time that any of this would take.
There is, it's very little time,
What?
as you said, sir, very little time.
No,
I
I
have a
mean,
question for Ya. The
Yes,
fountain that's outside on the back porch.
we repaired that last week or 4 or 5 days ago, and
Excellent.
it's working. We can hear this about the kitchen. It's really wonderful.
That was my question.
Yeah. I haven't checked the fencing around the area. I want to do that. That came into my mind today. But that pretty much would complete everything.
There's the vents that are rusted.
Oh, yeah, there are a couple rusted vents. The vent in the bathroom in the back does not work. That needs to be replaced.
The vent cover.
The vent actually doesn't work. The on off switch, it doesn't turn on the vent and it's just
Oh.
really dusty,
Uh-huh.
filled with stuff. Probably just needs to be replaced.
Mhm.
Yeah, simple.
Yeah, and there's a window piece that's broken. I think that was upstairs in the master suite. So even so, I mean, you could send the entire group, whether it's the Heaven text group or the plan of action. The biggest thing is that's just your eyes. Could you imagine the fact that you live with all these people who have their eyes and you come to a master list and actually get this done within the week and figure it out? Because it's very simple stuff, but it will stop a leakage of energy. Because that's our 5-star home that is, well, when things happen at that level, it affects everybody in the community. So because we're an example of 4-Pump directives, we want to do everything we can to respect the source and follow it according to Ruja Yoga. So I just appreciate you collecting it and seeing it, and because I know you care, and I know everybody else cares. I just know everybody else is busy, but if everybody can participate like this, it would really help this house.
I
It
was
just help everything.
trained to have spatial awareness, to be aware of the objects in the space, and I understand that people here are going through that training. And we can all get better at being aware of the objects in the space, in their state, scanning a room and leaving a room better than what it was.
all right.
All right. Dustin has something he wants to read.
Oh, good.
Get fried chicken.
Dustin, read.
Right, I'm gonna do a reading from Rudra Yoga Bible. The bhakti path winds in a delicate way. On this path, there is no asking and no not asking. The ego simply disappears the moment you touch him. The joy of looking for him is so immense that you just dive in and coast around like a fish in the water. If anyone needs a head, the lover leaps up to offer his. Kabir's poems touch on the secret of this bhakti.
Last time we read them, I reminded anybody who didn't know it about Yosha Chogel's knee replacement story.
Recaps.
Yeah. Okay, well, do you have a reading tonight?
I do.
Okay.
Number 26, Lord Shiva's lessons to Devi. Unminding mind. Keep in the middle until unminding mind. Keep in the middle until
All right. Clint, last night I had to take everybody out with 3 Japanese yes. I'm glad the real guy is back. So take us out. Hi. Hi. Hi.
Hey.
Computer, turn off.
Oh.